We love horror movies from the 70s and 80s, and we watch them for 2 days straight, and then we go write a book. Now we're looking back at every title, one at a time, in this podcast that we put out monthly. Once we've had an episode for every movie, it's time to meet up for another Shock Marathon. Oh yeah, the record button is red, and here we are. It's October of 2017, and we're going to be talking about a Halloween movie. I did try to make this episode about a romantic comedy, but we've decided against that. It's the right call.
Maybe February. I don't know if we can do it.
Okay, all right. Let's consider that. Trick or Treats from 1982. By the way, I'm Matt Farley here with Tom Scalzo.
Hello.
Ava Scalzo.
Hi.
And Charlie Roxburgh.
Greetings.
Trick or Treats from 1982.
I gotta say right away, it is so confusing that there's so many movies with this basic title.
Yeah.
Right? There's Trick or Treat.
Oh, really?
There's Trick or Treat.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's just off the top of my head. Then there's like other, I think, really low budget ones, but
yeah,
it doesn't stick out in your head very much. And also, this one doesn't have a great Halloween feel overall.
No.
Well, yeah, we'll get into it.
We'll get into that, yeah.
Minute 30 of boring credits start the movie, and now we're in the backyard. Okay. It starts off well. It starts off darn well. Backyard where there's a man and his wife enjoying breakfast. The wife is Carrie Snodgress from such films as Carrie and the Fury. You guys recognize her?
Vaguely.
Okay. She plays like the gym teacher in Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's a knock at the door. She goes to get it. And there's 2 guys there dressed in white. They're from the insane asylum. They got their straitjacket ready to go and take this man away. She leads them to the back. The husband's name is Malcolm. The wife's name is Joan. Joan looks on as Malcolm fights fiercely. He climbs up a tree. He pushes the guys in a pool. He's screaming. And, unexpected and really fun. Really, the wife is just watching, and it's just such a epic battle, huh, Charlie?
He screams a lot, and he's like a caged animal. I like it. In all honesty, I like it now less than I did back then.
Me too.
My
memories of that scene were a lot better than what I watched. But maybe the trick is that we weren't expecting it. When you're not expecting it, then it's amazing. Ava, was this your first time watching it?
It was my first time watching. I think mostly I was so struck by his commitment to the newspaper before the people come to take him in, because I was like, I just remember when the opening credits start and he's got this enormous like newspaper covering his face, and his face is like so far into it that I was like, oh my God, like he's really committing to the idea that he's reading this newspaper, even though he's clearly not. He's just sitting there with his prop.
Reading with gusto.
That was the whole reason. That was the whole way they sold the fact that he was a jerky husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My opinion, I think. And then that was like, okay, I'm okay if he gets taken away. Because...
if he had just had a conversation, she would have called it off.
Okay, I have a lot of questions, though. Is he crazy?
I don't think so.
Not crazy.
I don't think so.
He was innately crazy, but it would have never come out if he hadn't been taken to the asylum.
He gets crazier from his 4 years in the asylum. He's crazy by the time he gets out of the asylum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it was a ploy, right?
A ploy to become a magician?
She could get rid of him and take over the house, I think. I think that's her.
And start like a husband-wife magician team, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I want to be a magician with David Carradine, and the only thing holding me back is my rich husband. That's the.
They're magicians?
I don't think they're magicians.
They are totally. They're going to Vegas to perform.
No, it's just no. It's just a Halloween party. It's just a party.
What? No, they are magicians, Ava. They are.
They might be off-camera magicians, unmentioned magicians.
I mean, I know the kid is dedicated to magic,
And he
but
learned it from his
I have
parents.
no opinion about Joan and David Carradine.
Okay, he learned it from his parents, and
Not the Carradines.
because the kid even says to his mom, "Will you teach me the trick?" And she's like, "Fine, I'll teach you the trick when I get back."
No, buy him the trick.
All right.
Oh, Farley, I don't know.
She doesn't want.
She even
wants
says it's
help.
work related to the son, and the son doesn't believe her. Too. She says it's work. We have to go to Vegas for work. And the night just go like it feels like the longest night. They're leaving from. It seems they're going from L.A. to Vegas. It's already dark, right?
Very interesting take. It's possible.
Yep.
Look, they were invited to that party because they are a husband and wife magician team. All right. Let's just continue.
I mean,
the analysis.
whatever makes you sleep well at night.
It makes it better if that's true. That makes it better.
Oh, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Anyway, yes, Charlie, I agree. My shock memory was that it was like almost like that scene in the last movie we did where the saloon piano starts playing and it's like do 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 do, and he's just like wrestling with these guys. In this, thank you. The straight jacket. So it was a little disappointing, but still, I mean that's more than you expect from an opening scene.
It's too much screaming. I know that this is a thing. If you have on a movie where a guy's like screaming and it feels too real, don't let it go on for more than like 10 seconds.
Noted.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
But I mean, they're obviously, every movie about Halloween is kind of based on Halloween a little bit, right? And like the Halloween is Michael Myers like commits a horrific crime and then he's committed. This guy just wasn't very nice to his wife and then he's committed. It's not fair.
Yeah.
No, he does not
deserve that. The guy who read his
that.
paper too much came home.
All right. So now we're on the screen several years later. And it seems that later in the movie we're told exactly how many years later it is. It's been it's like why couldn't we have been told that in the
Yeah, it just makes you wonder.
in the caption. Okay. So that's funny. Okay, a girl gets a call while she's in the shower. It looks like someone needs her to babysit. She had plans with her boyfriend. She doesn't want to do the job. Her name is Linda. She's practicing her French for a yogurt commercial. She's an actress. Her boyfriend is an actor named Brett. And what an easy job that actor had. The Brett role.
Railsback.
Let's listen to a phone call between Linda and Brett.
Comment ça va?
Hello? Linda?
Oh, hi, Brett. I was just practicing the French for that yogurt commercial in case I got it.
Oh, hey, yeah, that was great. Hey, listen. Linda, look, I got a seat for you right down front.
Brett, I can't make it.
What? Baby, it's my opening night. I'm counting on you.
I know, but the agency says I have to work or they'll fire me. And I can't afford to lose them. It's the only way I can have my days free to get my acting jobs.
Don't the parents take the kids out trick-or-treating or something?
Yeah, but some people are running off to Las Vegas for a surprise party. So if I don't work, the agency will drop me.
You don't need them.
Oh, you'll support me then?
Look, you know I'm not really in a position to do that right now, you know? But I will be.
I need the stupid babysitting job. These rich people pay too well.
Once again, I'm hearing that voice from Curse of the Screaming Dead. Doesn't she sound? What's her name? Nancy? Is that her? What's her name in Screaming Dead? But you know what I'm talking about. I like the drinking even less.
Sarah.
Sarah, wasn't it Sarah?
Sarah, yep.
Sarah.
Aren't you getting that intonation?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. All right. She gives him. Oh, Charlie.
Wait, one thing.
Yeah.
Imagine if this phone call never happened. Right?
The movie.
She already got a call that she has to go babysit.
They're just killing time.
We know
That's
she's
it.
got to. He calls up, hey, baby, come to my place. she's not going to go to the play. He's not going to show up at her house. So he's not tied into any of the rest of it. That whole thing straight lifted out, and you wouldn't even know. It's a little bit of backstory, but...
So my big pet peeve with that scene is if you didn't get to the part, Farley, where he tells her that this is his one chance to play Othello. Brett is this white dude. And Othello
good point.
is famously Shakespeare's black main character.
Funny. Yeah, that didn't register for
I mean,
me.
the English lit major in me was so like I told Tom, I was like, why would you insert like that detail and then of all the plays to choose from?
I think they thought they were being funny. That's what I think.
I don't know. I feel like that's giving them too much credit.
Tom, what do you think?
Well, maybe it was Orson Welles. We can get to that later, but maybe.
Did Orson Welles play Othello?
He did a
film version of it.
A film version of it, yeah.
Okay.
And he was magical advisor on this movie, right?
Right.
Oh wow! I did not know that. Wow. All right.
It's all connected.
So she gives her boyfriend the address of where she'll be and tells him to come after the show. All right. Now Linda bumps into a guy on her way to her car. He wants her to join him at a party. She's not up for it. Just an unnecessary moment right there, Charlie, of a creep?
As far as I can tell, that's it.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with anything. He's not. They could have even made it Halloween-y if it were like some bad kids out, It's just like a mean creep.
Yeah, just because.
Don't you like to party? Yeah, but he also wants her to come to the party, but I'm sure he's a bad guy.
Now we see John Carradine in a tux. So is his girlfriend.
David.
Oh, it's David Carradine?
Yeah.
Sorry. And his girlfriend, Carrie Snodgress. What's her character's name again?
Joan.
So Joan, here's the situation. Joan has moved on. She got her husband institutionalized. There's so many questions. I mean, you'd think that when they took him away and he went to the asylum, he'd just be like, no, I'm fine. My wife just hates me. But like somehow, I can't wait to see this, to talk about the asylum itself. Just this.
Yeah.
Just darkness. It's just darkness. There's no walls, Tom.
Oh, there's no walls. It's like a soundstage. I mean, it is a soundstage.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something?
But the question is, where did the kid come from?
Yeah, whose kid? It's got to be the son of the guy who's in the asylum.
Because
it's only been 4 years.
Exactly, it's only been 4 years. So, and this kid is what, 10?
Yeah, he's definitely not 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you would, as we talk about the movie later, you start to wonder, what does the father not know he has a son?
Yeah. Right.
He's mad because he's like, my son, who was 6 when this happened, was clearly in on it, All right. So the son is mad that they're going to a party instead of taking him trick-or-treating. He wants the Wizard of Siam trick, which his mom says she'll get him when they get back. So, okay, 1 point in favor of you guys. Not that she'll teach it, but still, even for her to know what the Wizard of Siam trick is, she's got to be well-versed in her magic. All right, now Linda, she's the main character. She shows up at the house and meets the mom. And meanwhile, at the asylum, Malcolm just hanging out with his fellow inmates playing cards. And like we said, it's just a black, like a void, like this dark void with a bunch of chairs and beds, right, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I think they didn't want to build any walls. They really, they didn't. Sometimes you do curtains, like Plan 9 from Outer Space style. But I think they needed some wide shots with a lot of the inmates, or the institutionalized people. So they just opted for black. They probably just let it fall off into black, pointed lights at the actors, and thought no one would care.
Well,
or
I
podcast
care
about it years later.
I care. And the overacting craziness in the background is
It's horrible.
Bad taste. It's not funny. Don't do that in your movie.
Let's listen to Malcolm talking with his buddy over a game of dominoes or something.
I gotta get out of this place. I'm gonna bust out of here, and this time I mean it.
You've been here for 4 years, Malcolm. You should call it home.
I had a home once. And I'm gonna get it back.
Hi, Doctor.
How are you doing, Malcolm?
Fine. When am I going to get out of here, Doctor?
Oh, any day now, any day.
That's what you said a year ago, Doctor.
Be patient, be patient. I am a patient.
Now, why did you say that to him? You know he's as mad as a hatter.
You have to humor these people, Nurse Reeves. They're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Just, yeah, and stop trying to be funny is what I say right there. How about you, Tom?
Yeah, that's not the worst example from this movie of poor attempts at humor, but it's not appreciated.
Yeah.
Oh, the regular horror movie fan who rents this, like based on the cover,
Yeah.
looks pretty cool. You know, you're expecting some Halloween stuff. You're just like, oh man, what a stinker! What a stinker! This thing took me 3 days to get through. I was like watching it in the interminable last 45 minutes took me like 2 days.
And
I think I might have slept through most of those.
You were definitely
They're
asleep.
tough. They're really tough.
yeah. And again, like, why did you say several years later when, like, 8 minutes later, we learn it's been 4 years? Just like, why? Why that confusion? I don't understand why you have to do that. But hey, okay. So one of the guys in the background is blowing a napkin in the air. Like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the least annoying people there, though.
Okay.
I like that guy.
Okay, so now Carradine meets Linda back at the house. He's instantly smitten, offers her some brandy. She says no, but he pours some into her mouth anyway. And she asks how he managed to find such a great place. He says, you might say I inherited it. And she says, how did you inherit it? And he says, brains. So we don't get many details, but I guess we're supposed to believe that this is the plan from day one between Claire, is that her name?
Joan.
Between Joan and Carradine. Carradine's like, Joan, you get rid of your husband, and you and I in this house can raise your son, and maybe we'll be a magician team. Charlie.
He's well cast because he is exuding sleaze here.
Oh, sleaze.
So much. I mean, I buy that he would try to institutionalize this Malcolm to get his house. He is sleazy.
So the mother, the wife of Carradine, comes down just in time to see him trying to unzip Linda's shirt. I was just showing Linda this present I bought for you, he explains, before giving a ring to her. And I believe he had just tried to offer that ring to Linda, right?
He showed it to her. I don't know if he actually offered it to her.
Okay. So, but Snodgrass isn't even upset about it. She's just like, yeah, that's him. That's Carradine. They leave for the party. Now it's just Linda and the kid who's up in his room in a tux playing with the guillotine? Guillotine. Which one?
It's a guillotine, I think. But right before that, I did like when there was the staring match between the son and Carradine. You guys remember that on the stairs?
Oh, yeah. Very good.
That was actually kind of nice.
Does he not like Carradine or what?
We assume not.
Okay.
But it's just like maybe 6 cuts, like back and forth, and you like they're just staring each other down, and that was kind of a nice bit actually.
All right.
Yeah, it would have been. There's probably more there that could have been developed, but then they kind of disappear.
Yeah, and now all we have is just like this rotating situation of the phone calls from the actor and the kid annoying the girl and the guy escaping for the rest of the movie. So,
do we see Carradine again?
I don't think so. No, even with the phone, when the mom calls, he's off camera. You know. All right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I guess that's all they could afford was like those 2 scenes.
Yeah, totally. Okay, Linda comes into the room just as he seems to be cutting his head off. The guillotine comes down, blood comes out of his mouth. But it was a prank. After all, it's Halloween. She tells him to be careful. He says, "I'm cool," before putting on his top hat. So, let's watch a kid annoy an adult for an hour is essentially what we're in for. And I'm as annoyed as Linda is throughout the whole thing, right, Charlie?
Yeah, and it's not just that she's annoyed, it's that she sort of keeps falling for it. It's almost like it's so dumbed down to the audience. It's like they want us to believe that maybe the thing is real by the 6th or 7th time.
Yeah. I know. And
it's ridiculous.
I don't think it's ever real either. Even like at the end I thought he was dead on his bed. I'm like, wait, that's fake too? Oh my God.
I thought he was too for a while there. Yeah. It's just like Halloween 4, except like everything interesting is taken away and everyone is annoying. You know, it's like the babysitter and the little kid.
Oh yeah.
But like turn on its head in every bad way.
So now some kids come to the door for candy. I like this. Linda says, "What are you, a policeman?" And the kid says, "Yes, the local policeman." It's like, like, what? What is that? What does that mean? Wow. Linda comes back around the corner and there's an explosion. Turns out that's a magic trick again from the kid. He says sorry, offers a handshake, but he has a buzzer on his hand. He runs upstairs and says, "Sucker!" And like I said, we are all, Ava, how annoyed are you by this kid?
It's like, I think that's what makes this movie feel interminable, because like it just keeps, the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. And you're like, clearly they had no budget. So everything is happening in the same like 3 rooms.
Yeah.
And it's the same, 2 actors basically. And then the weird thing is like every once in a while, like he would kind of creepily hit on her. And like there was just so much like, besides the annoying thing, there was this like really icky please factor. So you just like you're just watching and you're just like, ugh.
I like
when it's not annoying,
else.
it's icky and sleazy.
That's another great pull quote, for the thing. When it's not annoying, it's icky. Trick or treats. All right. Meanwhile, back at the loony bin, the people are just crazy. We see example after example of insanity in this dark, wall-lit place. So just to check in, just to remind everybody that the crazy people are crazy. Let's listen to Malcolm continue discussing his escape plan with his buddy Bert.
You know, I've been thinking about it, Bert. I'm formulating my plan of escape.
Malcolm, you ain't getting out of here. You know, I tried it, and they knocked my teeth out.
Oh, I'm getting out, Bert. And when I do, I'm gonna get her, the lawyers, and the 2-bit gigolo she's married to.
Don't forget the doctors.
Oh, I'm gonna get the doctors, Bert.
Are you going tonight?
As soon as it's Betty Bye time, it's adios amigos.
Gee, Malcolm, I didn't know you could speak Spanish.
Amigos. Amigos. Yeah? Come here, Bert.
Yeah?
You can help.
Yeah?
You wanna know how?
Yeah.
Snore. Loud.
Like, I don't even understand why he needs to snore loud either.
It doesn't pay off. It doesn't.
He doesn't even do it. I don't think.
He kind of does, but it doesn't matter.
Is it supposed to drown out the sound of him attacking the nurse, I guess?
No, because he snores, and the nurse like pinches his nose to make him stop snoring, and then that's it. Then she moves over to Malcolm.
Wow.
Like it's not, and it doesn't do anything.
Meanwhile, Linda finds spilled milk on the floor, goes to pick it up, and it's another prank. Pranks. Oh, we've seen way too many pranks in these movies lately.
Yeah.
And I've never enjoyed any of them. Man.
No, they're all terrible pranks. Like, they're not funny. They're not. It's just more than anything, it's just irritating.
Yeah. We got to remember that when we're making movies. Don't have the characters pull pranks because it's no fun for anyone.
That's true.
Here we go. She says she'll take him to bed, and he says that's the best offer I've had all day. So there's the icky part. Back at the asylum, a nurse shoos away a female patient who is under the covers with a male patient. It's like, what is going on at this asylum, Charlie?
Yeah, that's so unbelievable. I don't know. It's played for laughs a little bit too, or they try.
The other problem is that more than looking like an asylum, it looks like a refugee camp, right? Because their beds are all in this long row, and
no rules.
There's no walls, or they would have rooms. Like, it's this, I don't know. It just doesn't.
It's just so bad and ridiculous. So the woman, she calls the woman Cleopatra, and the guy is Mark Antony, who delivers a brief soliloquy, and it's really hard to take. Like, the groans. All right, the nurse goes on to a few other beds before she gets to Malcolm, who grabs her and smothers her with a pillow. And turns out she's wearing a wig, which is good. Now, did he kill her, do we think, or what? Tom?
I thought it was just like chloroform or something. It seemed like he was just trying to like hold something over her mouth, but it's hard to tell.
Don't they interview her later, and like she goes on and on and on?
Oh yeah.
Good.
She's the one who's talking.
Kind of turned on by it, I think.
Do you think he knew? Did he know she wore a wig, and was that why she was his victim, Charlie?
I'll say no, and he just wanted it to be convenient for the film because he almost looked surprised when it happened. But I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Back at the
I wondered. Sorry.
No.
I wondered if I thought that possibly, like, there was an implication that the nursing staff had dressed up for Halloween. So.
Oh, okay. Hence the wig. Interesting.
Hence the wig, and.
Quite possible.
I don't know.
The subtle costume, though. Slightly different hair.
Right?
I'm a nurse with long hair, as opposed to my normal self, a nurse with shorter hair. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the house, the kid does another prank, which inspires Linda to tell him the entire story of the boy who cried wolf. Mm-hmm. And I am just bored out of my mind listening to this.
Yeah.
Oh, every detail. Stop.
They always say you don't want to tell your audience something they already know. Everyone knows this. It's like pulling the words out. Like, don't, just stop. I already know the story.
It was so like bad.
2 minutes.
So bad.
On the back cover of the VHS, the tagline is "When Halloween night stopped being fun."
Yeah, it's no fun.
They weren't kidding.
Appropriate.
It is no fun at all. This whole movie is no fun. Okay. So now Malcolm is in the nurse's outfit with the wig, heading out of the asylum. An officer needs to see an ID before he leaves, but he just punches the officer and then runs to a car and drives away, which I guess is the nurse's car, and he got her keys. Is that what we should believe, Tom?
Yeah, he had her purse.
All right.
Yeah, which has her car identification information in it somehow or something. Like,
it was very convenient escape.
You have to look at like just the Chrysler key or Dodge key and kind of like look for.
We could accept that. It's just like Halloween, though, right? It's Halloween. He escapes in a car.
Well, great
like
news.
How would Michael Myers know how to drive?
Yeah. Another question.
That's a good question. Yeah. You don't, when a movie's well done, you don't stop to think of those things. But when a movie's like Trick or Treat, you have nothing to think of but these inconsistencies.
Yeah.
All right, well, guess what it's time for? Another prank, of course. Linda sits on a chair that falls apart, and then there's an explosion outside and a scary face in the window. And then there's a phone call. It's her boyfriend on the phone, and that actor never left a room for this entire movie, but we're going to hear another example of his conversation because he's that good. Just from that room, listen to how good this is.
Hello?
Hi, honey. Lee, how's your evening?
Oh, awful. I've got a mean little kid here that's giving me a bad time.
Lock him in his room.
He'd escape. He's Houdini Jr.
What do you mean?
Tricks, costumes, practical jokes. I mean, his parents must have given him carte blanche at the magic store.
Yeah. You'll be able to handle it. Look, I gotta go. I'll see you after the show, okay?
I've got my own show going on here. Oh, gotta go. More goblins.
I love you.
I love you, too. Break a leg, huh?
So unnecessary.
He called her, right?
Yeah, this like in between
Just
acts.
to say, I gotta go, pretty much, and not listen to what she had to say.
And he said, "I'll see you at the show." What is that?
Oh, do you
They're
say
not
that?
planning to meet up later.
And how does he have so much time to just keep calling? It's like the night of the performance. One funny thing here, though, did you guys notice how the other actor at the other mirror was trying to eavesdrop?
Yeah.
That was a little bit of something going on.
It's because right at the end, right, he says like, get rid of her or something like that.
Yeah, that's in
Is this
another
scene?
phone call when he's
Oh,
like
it's another-
supposed to
it's
be
another
on
one.
he's supposed to be on stage and he's chatting away. All
Yeah.
right. After the call, we see Malcolm driving. He pulls over and calls the house. Linda answers and he hangs up. Malcolm, just go home. He pulls over so frequently, it seems, to make these calls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. So then Linda sees the kid dead in the pool. She tries to provide mouth to mouth, and then he gets up and says thanks for the kiss. These are some intricate Houdini acts by this kid. This kid he's going to be a great magician someday. And frankly, I would say you can only get that good at magic if you are raised by a couple of magicians.
What if you just have carte blanche?
That's true. He did have carte blanche. But we should just reiterate: this kid is awful. Like, it's just he is awful. He is so unpleasant to listen to and to look at. Everything about him is horrendous. And like, who wants to experience that, Charlie? Nobody does.
Nobody does. And also, when the gags are physically unbelievable, it just offends you even more.
Yeah, what? Yeah, he's laying face down in a pool for how until she notices him, which
casually notices, yeah, and without any noise or something to like signal her to look.
Right.
It's so unbelievable. It's so offensive to me as just like a thinking viewer.
And then her version of mouth to mouth is like.
Yeah.
Like
it's like lingering.
She is a babysitter. Like, this is what she does for her job. So as a certified babysitter, she would actually have to know CPR. Like even in the 80s, she would have had to know CPR.
And she's just kissing him.
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
Gently. Yeah.
Yeah. She rubbed his stomach a little bit. It wasn't going to help.
No.
So then there's another call from Malcolm, and then another prank from the kid. Malcolm's headed to his car, but a police officer's there, so Malcolm goes away scared. Unnecessarily so. He could have just gone into his car, but he's a little gun shy because he's been locked up for 4 years, so I guess it's understandable. The kid has now sliced his finger while cutting something. What was that? Cucumber or zucchini?
That was
like
like
a salami.
Salami. All
Yeah.
right. But it turns out it's another prank. She threatens to shoot him into outer space with a rocket. She tosses some candy at some trick-or-treaters and then gets another call from Malcolm who says, "I'm coming to take care of you, darling." Now Linda is once again looking for the kid. She looks around a while before she shines a light. He shines light on himself in a vampire costume and states, "I want to suck your blood." It's just like, just one scene after the next, and it's so you get lost and you get like sleepy from the repetitiveness, right, Charlie?
And it's all night scenes, exactly. It's all night scenes. It's all in pretty much the same locations, like Ava was saying. You could come back into the room at any time. The thing's still playing. You didn't miss anything, and you can put them in any order, and you don't miss anything.
Yeah. Malcolm is walking down the street when he's approached by a guy near a theater who offers him a drink. Malcolm runs off with the drink. So, again, none of this stuff needs to happen or is entertaining. So that's tough. It's a tough 1-2 punch. Let's listen to the. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry. Like later when he tries to get the clothes, right? It would make sense that he stole the liquor from this one guy to like use to like trade for clothes later. That would have made sense. But that doesn't happen. They go out of their way to not do that. He steals the liquor, then he has it, and then instead of trading it to the bums for clothes, he threatens them for their clothes. Like it's like they go out of their way to not be logically consistent.
Charlie.
And right, they went out of their way to have to show, I think, where he got the knife, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to a diner and sips coffee, waits. I think that's what he steals from the diner.
Yeah.
Waits till the guy behind the diner counter walks away, reaches over to grab a knife, then leaves. It's like we could have just imagined between now and then he got a knife or something.
We don't need
it's
to
such
know.
a ham-fisted scene to write. Going to a diner on the way to your this revenge you've been waiting to exact for several years.
Yeah.
Yes, you compare again with Halloween, like Michael Myers' reign of terror to get back to Haddonfield. Blowing up gas stations and killing everyone. This guy's like stealing from a diner and assaulting bums.
Also,
it's ridiculous.
We should discuss how unthreatening this bad guy is. Like, at no point is there any amount of fear or terror that you experience when you're looking at this guy.
No, he just looks like this middle-aged businessman.
Yeah, in the way he talks too.
He's not disheveled in any way. It's like, like you think like, oh, he's been in the asylum, he'd look unkempt or anything. No, he looks just as clean-shaven and put together as he did the day he was
unceremoniously committed. Yeah. So anyway, now the mom calls from Vegas, and let's listen closely. Maybe there's some hint that she's going to be putting on a... I mean, look what she's wearing. She's wearing like the same style tuxedo that her magician son is wearing, Charlie.
But it's she and her husband are going as a couple's costume party.
All right,
to a custom costume.
You're really holding on to this magic connection.
I think that's their job. Let's listen.
Linda, this is Joan. Is everything all right?
No.
What do you mean?
Your son is a holy terror. He committed suicide about 4 times. He tried to drown me. He set off explosions. He had me chase him all over the house. He played tricks on me.
Well, dear, Christopher is an amateur magician.
Yes, well, I don't want to be the magician's stooge.
Oh, he's perfectly harmless.
Oh, and some screwball keeps calling me on the phone. Is the kid a ventriloquist, too?
Well, he might be. Did he wreck the house?
No, but that's probably next.
Oh, don't worry, dear.
You know, you shouldn't buy your son everything he wants.
Oh, I believe more harm can be done by denying the creative mind. Surely you can understand that, Linda.
Then maybe you ought to sign him up with the circus.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Wow.
What information do you get out of that?
Nothing. You just kill more time. Kill more time.
To hear But I mean, what the gall of that conversation, you know? Like, what babysitters ever talked like that?
I know.
Yeah.
She didn't
But
sugarcoat it at all.
We also need to point out that she is wearing Joan's night negligee. And when the phone call occurs, she's like at Joan's vanity, like using her makeup and stuff. Like the whole thing is so bizarre.
Not many. I don't think possibly not any likable characters in this movie. You know, maybe Carradine is the most likable, and he's despicable. You know,
Paul Bartel, the hobo who has to give up all his clothes. He's the only likable guy for me.
All right. After hanging up, Snodgrass declares, presumably to Carradine, she says, "Christopher is being a perfect angel." But we don't see him, but we assume he's off screen listening to that. The kid has now tied a string to the door knocker so that he can keep bothering Linda. 4 times we watch her answer the door to nobody. 4 times. It is rough. Malcolm finishes a meal at the diner and steals a knife in a 10-second scene. Some older trick-or-treaters arrive. One of them announces, "We're drunk." That was a fun, unnecessary moment. Malcolm calls again. Then Malcolm forces a homeless man at knife point to remove his clothes, and that's the most likable character, Charlie, officially.
Yeah. Because he says everything. Paul Bartel is just a likable guy.
And it's like, come on, let the guy keep his underwear, you know? Sheesh.
You're not supposed to think about that part.
Do they specify underwear even or no?
Yeah, I guess they do with everything, but
they do.
Oh, and now, this is a great moment. Just out of nowhere, we're introduced to Connie and Andrea, the editors. Have we met either of them prior to this moment? No. Okay. Let's just like such confusion. Like, did I accidentally change channels? That's the question. You know, if you're watching this on TV, like, what am I watching? Let's hear them talk.
The blood really looks fake.
Fake or not, these horror pictures give me the willies.
It's only a movie, Andrea.
Look, Connie, I love movies. I love editing. I love making movies more than I love eating.
I like the hunting even less than I like the drinking, is what she should have said right there. Sorry, we'll get back to that.
They make me scared to drive home alone at night.
Oh, I know what you mean. They don't exactly turn me on.
Do you think people will ever get tired of these films?
No. I think people are always interested in the latest monster that will pop up, or how much more blood can be spilled, or how many more guts can be ripped out.
And the producers will keep pouring them out.
Yep. How's that scene coming along?
Here, come take a look at it. Tell me what...
Oh, my God. Who are these people? Why have we met them? Now we're watching the scene that they're editing, and a Dracula doctor is attaching a head to a corpse with 2 nurses. Oh, my goodness. Ava, were you still awake at this point?
I was surprisingly still awake. This is like maybe lasted 5 minutes past this nonsense. I was
so
like, well, what was fascinating was to have them like they're basically speaking to the audience, right, about horror movies.
I know.
And I was like, why would you do this? Like, this is just like, I mean, not that I took any screenwriting or filmmaking classes, but I think even I could tell you that is a bad idea.
Yeah, it is such a bad idea. And so in jokey, too. They think that they're being like, I think they think they're being funny, Charlie.
If you're going to have a bone to pick with, like, the current crop of bloody ears, make fun of Friday the 13th. why are you make up this movie where a Dracula is / Dr. Frankenstein for some reason?
Yeah.
Why does he have a Dracula cape on other than that maybe they just had it lying around?
Yeah.
And
it's not like no one's
that
making
amount of
that
comedy-
movie in 1981. No one's making that movie. You know?
No, and that wouldn't be the kind of thing that people would be up in arms about, or even really call like a horror movie or anything that would give anybody the willies. So it's so off base. They could have just filmed a quick slasher scene, and it would have been fine.
Unbelievable decision at this point in the movie. These brand new characters talking about their jobs. So they, Connie and Andrea talk about how great they both are at editing. Then they get a phone call from Linda. She wants to know if they've transferred her audition to video yet. And Andrea says she'll drop off the VHS on the way to her hairdressers. And once again, it feels like it should be midnight at this point. Doesn't it? I mean,
oh yeah.
Yes.
Where are they? They're in LA. So the couple, first of all, how did they get to Vegas? They flew to Vegas?
I guess.
So I don't know what's going on, the timeline right there. It was after dark. They went to an airport, checked their bags, flew to Vegas, and got there in time for the party. I know it's not a long flight, but it's just crazy. And now this, it's just a lot of confusion.
And it's so unnecessary. Just say
you
just
could be
say,
going
I'm going
anywhere.
to a party.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Like,
true. Hairdresser's appointment at midnight.
That was what was like. I looked over at Tom and I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. Like if it's like at least give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, let's say it's 10 o'clock at night. There is no hairdresser that is going to be seeing you at that time.
Yeah, and it can't be any earlier than that. It just can't be. All right, let's listen to Linda turns on the TV and there's a news report about Malcolm.
A dangerous lunatic, Malcolm O'Keefe, ex-millionaire industrialist, has escaped from Western State Hospital. A all-points bulletin by the police is out tonight. I'm here at Western State Hospital tonight to talk with Nurse Almeda Reeves.
It was a vicious and savage attack, the work of a maniac. He jumped me as I leaned to tuck him in. He threw me on the bed and then jumped on top of me and put it in my mouth.
Put the gag in your mouth, you mean?
Yes, he put this in my mouth and I couldn't cry out. He tied me up and took off all my clothes. I've never been so humiliated.
I tried to escape once, and they knocked my teeth out.
Now, Malcolm O'Keefe...
All right, I can't watch anymore. It's just a lot of very failed comedy. And okay, wait, he's a millionaire industrialist? I mean, their house isn't that nice, is it, Ava?
No, it's like suburban,
And
class.
If he's like a big deal millionaire industrialist, is anyone following up on the fact that he's been institutionalized, Tom?
I guess you'd think he'd have some lawyers fighting for this.
But nothing.
Yeah, nothing makes sense.
Now, I don't know what happens in the scene, but I marked down that when Malcolm enters the bus, it's worth listening to. So let's just see why I marked that down.
I have to go to Worcester, near La Brea.
You want to go to Wilshire, La Brea? That's 35 cents, boy. Sit down.
Okay, clearly it was worth it. That's a great...
That's the best part of the movie.
Great little moment there, huh? Wow, I like that.
It's like the bus driver is so surprised that he's like going somewhere on that route. What are you talking about?
It's utterly ridiculous, but a little bit fun. Anyway, Malcolm finally makes it to the house. He comes up to the front door. He creeps around, inspecting the place, possibly confused by all the magic paraphernalia. Linda is out by the pool looking for Chris. Chris is the kid, I guess. Chris is the annoying kid. So Chris and Linda are out back while Malcolm's going through the house. And Chris does another prank where he drops a real rat or a fake rat on her. What was that, Charlie?
I think it was real.
A real rat. He somehow has access to a rat, an actual rat.
Yeah.
She tells him she'll tie him up on his bed. He says he'll escape. And she says, go around the neighborhood like the kids. Maybe he'll get some poison candy. And the audience is like, yes, we want this kid to die. After she leaves, he says aloud, I wonder if I should put her in the jigsaw box or saw her in half. Anyway, Andrea shows up at the house. Okay, oh, poor Andrea, the editor. So they only introduced these characters so that they had someone else to kill off, is essentially the only reason we meet her. She can't find Linda, so naturally she just goes upstairs and just goes through every room in the house.
As one does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, when she goes in the kids' room, she says magic tricks.
You wouldn't even do that if it was your friend's house. Let alone a stranger's.
Yes. Yeah. So
it has none of that horror movie like stalk and slash kind of feel. It just is absolutely boring.
Oh, just so boring.
It's not like, what's gonna happen?
This is where I fell asleep.
Yep.
So like, cause she's going through the rooms, and I was like, done.
Yeah, this is so dumb. Well, we won't go to you for comments for the last 20 minutes of the movie, but just stay with us. We want your full overall.
But you
comments.
think like does she's her friend, right? Just drop it off.
Just put it on the counter, the kitchen counter.
No, don't even go there.
Nope.
Like, does Linda need it that
You're
night?
right. Her actual house.
It's none of this makes sense.
All right. Finally, Malcolm stabs her. Then he says, "You're not." What's he say? You're not what? Joan. Okay.
He thinks everybody's Joan.
Yeah, which is so stupid because they clearly have established that he wants to like preach to his wife
Yeah,
and
so
like
he
rub
wouldn't
it
just
in.
kill her. Yeah.
So that's hence the phone calls. Hence, later when he thinks that she's the one on the couch, he gives this big speech. Mm-hmm. Why would he just like stab with a knife and then say, "Oops, wrong"?
Linda sneaks up on the kid as a form of payback. He likes that and says, now you're getting the hang of it. That's all he wanted all along, was just to kind of play, someone to play with him. So it's a moment where you'll kind of feel bad for the kid. She pours herself a glass of wine. The cat jumps on the counter. The kid shows up and asks for some wine, handing her flowers that come out of his magician's wand. So a little redemption, I guess, for Christopher there. Is that what we just saw, Charlie?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They start to work together a little bit here.
Little too late. Too little, too late. Let's listen to another another phone call from, I believe, from the actor. Let's hear it.
Screw off!
Linda?
Oh, Brett, sorry.
What are you so mad about?
Obscene phone calls, rats, cats, you name it.
Oh, I wish I was there with you.
Oh, it's all right. I found the wine.
You're getting obscene phone calls?
Mm-hmm. A few. Some weirdo keeps calling and tells me he's coming over here.
Maybe you should call the police.
All right. I never thought of that. How's the play going?
Oh. Simona's wig slipped a little bit, but other than that, it's going great. It's a great audience.
Well, they all got in free, didn't they?
Yeah, they got in free, but they're good, they're good. Oh, I gotta go. I'll talk to you. Bye. I gotta go.
All right. So that's that. Linda hadn't considered calling the police, but yeah, Charlie.
Is that why you were laughing, Tom? Because her line reading makes it seem like she's being sarcastic, but she's not.
Yeah, I think she sounded sarcastic, but you think
such
she
bad
actually
writing and acting.
Yeah. She never actually did think of it.
Yeah. So she calls the police to report the calls. The police are no help. They just tell her to lock the door. The kid finds a horror soundtrack record and puts it on the turntable. She tucks him in bed. He has a bloody outline around his neck. She playfully asks if he has a sore throat. He doesn't respond, and Tom and I thought that he was dead, but we'll soon find out he's not. Malcolm goes downstairs to tell Linda, and tells Linda, "I'm home, Joan." he won't look. He won't look at her. Won't let her look at him. All right. So doesn't he know that's not Joan? First off, we just have to accept
on
that?
Earth. If this movie occurred on Earth,
okay,
he would know. But it is so annoying. They're trying to say that because she doesn't turn around, because she's wearing the negligee from several years before, that he's confused, I guess.
So he makes a speech about how poorly she treated him. He has a punishment for her. Linda does a smooth move by grabbing a mirror from her purse so she can see who it is, I guess. So I don't like...
She doesn't know him, so it didn't...
What's
the only thing she did was look at a guy who said, "Don't look at me," to maybe make herself more in danger.
Take that, guy. Let's listen to some of his speech.
It's time for you to suffer. I loved you, Joan. And look what you did to my life. You destroyed it. Now I hate you. Do you hate me? Oh, come on. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You hate me, don't you? Come on.
All right. So Linda runs upstairs. He chases her. Then she goes downstairs and outside to the pool house. He follows her in there, gets tangled in the web, and then discovers a typewriter that seems to have sentimental value to him. Did you guys notice that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any idea?
Sentimental.
Just I like.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Orson Welles was involved, so.
I like that typewriter.
It's businessy. He likes
great typewriter.
Rosebud.
She gives herself away after shrieking at the mouse or the rat. He climbs up. She jumps down. She gets into her car, but it won't start. He's out there trying to get in. He gets in. She runs out. Oh, it's so boring, huh? She opens the door, and dead Andrea falls out. She calls the police, but he comes in before she can finish the call. She runs to the kid's room. He gets up. I must have dozed off. Is it still Halloween? He's like, shut up, kid. And Linda says maybe one more trick, very dramatically. Okay, so as Malcolm creeps up the stairs, Linda and Chris prepare a trick with the guillotine and a fake gun. What are they?
Such a bad trick.
What do they do, Charlie? I can't even discuss
okay, as far as I can understand, the trick involves standing near the guillotine and hoping that in the most unbelievable manner ever occurred upon this great planet, a man would bend his torso and lower his head into the contraption and keep it there long enough for the blade to slice his neck.
Now, Ava, wait till you hear what you missed.
But
okay,
the fact that it is an actual guillotine that they've bought for their kid. Too.
Right, yeah.
It has this potential.
It can actually just chop a head off very easily, very easily. All right, so then all is well, it seems, Ava. But Linda goes down to call the police, and for no reason that I can determine, Chris, the kid, stabs her as the movie ends. And that's it. And so...
The evil, it was either in him or it got transferred at that moment. But that's what they're trying to sell when he picks up the knife and gets that evil grin.
That's bad stuff.
I like transference of evil.
Well, I mean, he is his father's son, right? Yeah, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
He's finishing the job.
The guillotine thing actually...
It works. It's effective.
It works.
It's not just a toy. Yeah, it actually killed the guy.
Okay. I obviously I missed...
So it's not a trick at all. There's
no trick. The kid, the little boy has a mask on. That's not a trick. That's a mask. The girl, the babysitter, is just standing kind of near the guillotine. Then, to make matters even less of a trick, he comes in from a door they're not expecting.
Yeah.
So they had a trap laid. He, got around it, and then bends over, puts his head inside a guillotine.
Very conveniently. Before we review this, let's listen to one of my favorite songs. that's so good.
So good.
Now this is what's funny about this. When I heard this, I was like, oh, Help Is on the Way. That's like a famous hit song. But then I realized it's only famous to me because I've listened to you know how I made a CD before that had the best clips from the movies we watched.
Yeah.
That is not a hit song, it turns out. I'm pretty sure. But it should be.
Well, what's "Dance the Night Away"? That's a hit song.
Dance the night away.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, for
it's very,
sure.
It's very
Maybe
close.
They barely changed it.
Yeah.
I don't know which one came first.
Yeah, I'm guessing "Dance the Night Away," but that's a good song.
I would like a CD of all these songs. Like, you know, you got Fall Break, you got this, you got the couple of songs from what was that other one? New Year's Evil. There's some good ones.
Yeah, there's so many. Killer Party's got the best days of our lives, which is
Best Days of Our Lives. Yeah,
one
that's
of the
great.
best songs ever. Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, Trick or Treats. It's fun. It's more fun talking about this movie than a lot of other movies. I gotta say, I really had a fun time deciphering it, but sitting through it is a chore. Oh, what a chore. Let's hear some reviews from Charlie.
This is the worst one we've watched for a podcast in a long time. You're right, it was fun to talk about just because there's so many problems, but I thought we were going to talk for a lot shorter just because of, what can I say? That I fell asleep a couple times. It took a couple days. I was so confused and so annoyed by the kid. It's one of the more repetitive movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I didn't like one of the jokes.
No, the jokes are real bad. Real bad.
Imagine that. It is not a good film, and I can't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I also do not like it. I give it minor points for that opening scene with the where they're putting him away, and minor points for the joy that we have of trying to find any kind of logic. It's more fun to talk about this than it is to talk about some other movies that are better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's got that. It's got that special something. Ava, what do you think of the first hour?
So when Tom told me that this was the choice, he really did a very poor job of selling it, because he says to me, oh, we're going to watch Trick or Treats. Only the first maybe 15 minutes are worth watching, and the rest of the movie is terrible. And then he's like, because I was traveling, he's like, oh, we really gotta watch this. And I'm like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But it was completely accurate. He did not lie to me. The first 15 minutes are pretty much the only thing worth watching, and then
it just
the rest
repeats.
It's like unbelievably. I think once they get away from, once he's escaped the asylum, and then it's just the same plot points happening over and over again. It just, and even for a slasher where you kind of expect lots of quick deaths or whatever. There's not this movie doesn't have that. There's these deaths that are grouped together way at the end, which I missed because I was asleep.
There's only one.
But really, it's only the one. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. They introduced these characters that do nothing, have no point. There's no. They don't accomplish anything. They don't add to the story. It's unbelievable.
It's fun. It's fun to imagine the writer who's like, all right, then she gets another phone call from her boyfriend. Yeah, that's what we'll do here. Good. All right, now let's just introduce some brand new characters. Editors. Yeah, editors. Oh, wow. Tom, your review.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. It's Gary Graver's baby, written, photographed, and directed by Gary Graver. Somehow, I don't know if he was an industry person who somehow got the money and the connections to get something together. That's kind of what it feels like. He wanted to make a movie somehow he got Carradine involved. Somehow he got Orson Welles involved for a little bit. I don't really understand that, but you know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like. That like no, I just imagine what Orson Welles is on the set. Like what is happening?
Maybe it was like he saw Orson Welles on the street and said, "Orson, should I tell me a magic trick?" He's like, "Yeah, here's one. All right, great. Yeah, you're in my credits now." It could have been that.
I hope that was it.
Yeah.
But it's just so boring, and it's frustrating because it doesn't have to be, because it's the same plot as so many other movies, but it'd be so easy to do a couple pranks, you know, and then like the babysitter and the kid team up to fight the madman who's trying to get in the house. Like you do that at the 45-minute mark or so, and it's not so bad.
It's no fun. It's rough stuff, Charlie.
I was just thinking quickly. I hate the characters, all of them pretty much. So it's like I don't, it's not someone I don't want them to die. But I also hate the guy who's trying to get revenge.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to succeed at his tasks.
Yeah, you're rooting for nobody. Maybe Andrea, the editor,
I guess.
She's a little full of herself. I just, the hobos in the alley. Where it's at.
All right, Charlie, did you have any stats on the awards or anything? This probably
yeah, it did win for best action scene.
For the pool.
For the pool, yeah. Which I guess I could see. It kind of got off easy. It was nominated for worst movie, so we did our due diligence there.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But it Don't Open the Door was the winner of worst movie. But yeah, the opening, getting institutionalized, won for best.
I'm still mad about Don't Open the Door. That was not a worse movie.
No, this is worse.
Yeah, Don't Open the Door had some much nicer vibe, and it wasn't so dark. But yeah. So and it's from 1982. Is that right, Tom?
That's what it says on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this prime time. They had a chance, and they gosh darn blew it. With a boring house and a boring insane asylum. And a boring backstage room that just basically all we see in the whole movie. It's like, oh, what a shame. What a shame. I guess they were just in a rush.
They were something.
Yeah. So that's that.
Poor Gary Graver.
Yeah, hey, Gary, you gave it your all. I don't regret having watched it twice, though. Seriously, it's good. And that song, Help is on the way. That should be on classic rock stations all the time. Well, I guess we've said all we had to say about Trick or Treats. Wow.
You can wish Happy Halloween to people. This is the time. This is the horror glory. I mean, right now, the couple weeks lead up before Halloween, it is glory time to watch stuff like this. So.
It's the time to watch. There's lots of other titles you might want to check out besides Trick or Treats.
Some of the previous titles we've discussed on this podcast.
Yeah. So pretty much any of the ones we've discussed before this are preferable to Trick or Treats. So yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. Have fun. This is our time to just enjoy. Just have a horror movie on. It feels good. It feels good to have a horror movie on, right, guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. For Ava, Tom, and Charlie, this is Farley saying happy Halloween.